Alright, we're going to the movies. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Now, I have seen the original. It came out in 1991. I just rewatched the original. But as far as this remake, I don't really know anything. I don't think I've seen a trailer. Not to say that a trailer hasn't played before a movie. I don't really pay attention to trailers much anymore. But let's go. Alright, let's talk about it. So that was Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, directed by Wade Elaine Marcus, stars Simone Joy Jones, Nicole Richie, and a whole bunch of other people. This is a remake of the 1991 film of the same name, which starred Christina Applegate. And the story is pretty much the same. I mean, this really doesn't do anything different. You know, a bunch of kids are home almost by themselves. Mom's going away for the summer. You have the oldest, who's 17, just graduated high school, was hoping to have a fun summer camp because mom's going to be gone. And she thinks that she's going to be the one holding down the fort, but mom hired a babysitter. The, babysitter was there when Jesus rose from the dead. She's like really, really old. And ends up in her sleep, and kids find a creative way to dispose of the remains because they don't want mom to come home. But they weren't very bright. They didn't think it through. They accidentally, left the money that mom left with the corpse. So now the oldest has to get a job so she can take care of her siblings for the summer. That's the plot in the original. This is the plot here. The only difference is mom, instead of going on a trip to Australia, mom had a nervous breakdown, showed out at work, so now she's on a trip to Thailand for 2 months, a wellness trip. The original is a cult classic. What does that mean? That means that when it was first released in the theaters, it didn't do very well, or it wasn't received very well. In this case, both. The original is not very good, but then when it was released to home video, something clicked. It's become a bit of a classic. It's kind of timeless. It's fun, but it's not very good. This, again, it follows the original plot to a T. It doesn't really deviate, doesn't do anything new. We have some modern things because, again, this is 2024, not 1991. So you have those differences. But for the most part, this is fun trash. It's fun, it's goofy, it has some ha-ha, hee-hee moments, but it's trash. It's not very good, it's not well written. This should have gone straight to streaming, or at the very least, 8 p.m. on a Saturday on Lifetime, or BET, since this is who made the movie, BET Plus, if you want to be specific. How was this greenlit? Like, this was trash. But it's fun. I mean, it's goofy, good fun. It's a movie that you watch it and holy crap, this is bad. From the very beginning, once they start talking, it's bad. The dialogue is terrible, writing is terrible, the acting is just very wooden and stiff. I mean, this is something you see on Hallmark or Freeform. Like, this is not a theatrical kind of movie. Like, how did this get released? The story is nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense in 1991. It doesn't make sense now. And part of the problem with the original and this one is that the writing is so lax. It's so lax, so uneven, so flat. The acting is just not very good. There are so many mistakes and so many flaws that it just emphasizes the nonsensicalness of the story. If you can have good writing, good acting, good editing, good comedic timing, it can make the story seem less unbelievable. Unfortunately, the writing is so bad, the spacing is in the editing is just too great. It's like, classic millennial pause here. It just makes the story seem dumb. They're like little things that are happening, like, why didn't they just do this? Why didn't they do that? Like, this is so, like, how are they able to get away with this for so long? Like, it's just, we find out that this babysitter is a friend or a relative of someone that her mother works with, and that's how she got her information. And yet at the end of the movie, we're told there are no relatives. They don't know who she belonged to. Like, what? Simone Joy Jones, bless her heart, she has a future. She's talented. There's potential there. This movie didn't do her any favors though. Like absolutely none. Like, this is a largely forgettable film. No one's gonna remember this movie in like 2 months. No one's gonna remember this movie next week. And why does it matter if it's memorable or not? Because you decided to remake a cult classic, a movie that has stood the test of time, as terrible as it is, has stood the test of time for like 33 years. Why didn't you do better? The bar was so low it was underground, but instead of reaching for the sky, they said, nah, we can go another 6 feet. And it's a remake, which makes it even worse because it's not just bad, it's unnecessary. Who was chomping at the bit for a remake of a less than not good 1991 family comedy? No one. Overall, goofy. Some hee hee ha ha moments. A nice little performance from Simone Joy Jones, at least the best she could give with poor direction. But it's trash. Speaking of trash, Nicole Richie in this? I don't want to talk about it.